Are you a fantasy football expert? Well, then it's time to prove it. If you think you've got what it takes, then sign up to Spitch and take me on this weekend for a chance to win a signed shirt by Jack Wilshere. Unlike other fantasy leagues, on Spitch, you can play individual match days and create your different 11 every week. It's not just goals and assists that count towards your score either. Every action, including a pass or tackle, records points in real time. Click the link to join our head-to-head league and take me on for a chance to win. Bring it on.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the first box-to-box of the Premier League 2022-23 season. Arsenal are kicking off the season yet again. This time we're at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Listen, we're all familiar with Crystal Palace and that game towards the end of last season. And I'm back with a familiar face. D, what are you saying, my bro?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm excited once again. We're talking about it behind the scenes as well. I'm ready for the season. I'm ready for the game. And you know what? It could be interesting for both teams. Teams. I think we could both have different seasons, of course, but expectations are there.
Not just excited, you're confident, because we've been speaking before the cameras were rolling, yeah, and D's quite confident.
Yeah, I am confident. I am confident for various reasons. Look, last season we saw what we've done under Patrick Vieira, and it was a great season in terms of not just league position finish, but he changed the culture around the club, bringing youth in, playing a certain style of football. So that was all great. But I'm confident this season more than last season is because we signed new players. We signed players that we need in certain areas, like Cheikh Doucouré we signed. And we've got players like Eze, who was injured for the majority of last season. And this, I know it's pre-season, and we talk a lot about pre-season. What does it mean? What doesn't it mean? But Eze's looked like the best version of himself that I've never seen before, even under Roy Hodgson. So we've signed players, we've brought in players from injuries, and it's all looking solid right now. And expectations are going to be a bit higher than last season. So that's why you have to be confident. You have to look forward to it.
Listen, on the expectations front, Vieira came in last summer. It was a shock to a lot, somewhat of an unknown entity. We know he's done work out there, but the Premier League is very different. He came in after Roy Hodgson. A lot of people, thought that it wouldn't go too well for him and Crystal Palace. But like you said, the season turned out quite good. You can see what he's trying to do with Crystal Palace. Now, he's not that unknown entity. Yeah. Now the expectations are rising. What do you want to add this season for Crystal Palace? What does Vieira need to achieve this season, his second full season?
Look, last season, if we didn't have the FA Cup run, we would have finished top 10. I purely believe that. I think after the FA Cup, after we got knocked out against Chelsea in the semi-finals, the team just thought it's done. You know what? The season's done. So we didn't do it as great in the league towards the end of the season. But for example, when you look at our goal difference, we talk about goal difference here, it doesn't mean an awful lot. But when you look at the league table last season, Palace stand out. And there's a reason for that, because there was only small mistakes that cost us. And as the season went on, them small mistakes started disappearing one by one. So this season, the expectation, is top 10. But with all honesty, I have not seen many fans from other teams talk about Palace like that. I've seen Newcastle, I've seen West Ham, of course, get talked about. But Crystal Palace, once again, we've gone under the radar. And once we got under the radar, that's when we do best. So for me, a top 10 finish and a cheeky League Cup run, even League Cup, would do me wonders, bro. Because it's Crystal Palace we're talking about. Like, how many years ago, about 10, 12 years ago, we weren't going to be like a football club. And now we're here talking about finishing top 10 in the Premier League with Patrick Vieira as a manager, with all these
fresh approach.
Yeah, so for me, top 10 and a little cup run, not maybe FA Cup because that's during the season, but at the start of the season, little League Cup run, I'll do that, I'll take that.
Yeah, well, listen, from Palace's expectations to Arsenal's, this is Mikel Arteta's third full season that he's going into. We just missed out on top 4 last season. Thanks for that, by the way.
Kind of ruined your season, I'll be real.
You kind of derailed,
After that game, you lot just lost all composure. And that's what, funny enough, we were talking about Arteta back then as well, whether he can be that guy. And it's going to be big question marks. Even from my perspective, I'm going to be looking at Arteta throughout the season.
Yeah, and listen, it was such a disappointing end to last season that there was a lot of pressure on Arteta, But going into this season, I think most, if not all, Arsenal fans are aligned. The next step is Champions League football. The next step is making top 4, maybe winning the Europa League. This season, for me, the expectation is make top 4 and get a cup with it. Obviously, we're not entitled to the cup. Man City, Liverpool, they play a part. Chelsea, United, Tottenham, Palace, West Ham. There's so many good clubs in the Premier League right now that the FA Cup and the League Cup, you can't feel entitled enough to win.
Exactly.
But a good run in the cups, potentially getting one over the line, coupled up with the more important fact, the Champions League football for us to take the next step. Because I feel like next summer, we've done good work this summer, we've done good work last summer. There's still a few weeks left of this window where I think we'll bring in a midfielder. But next summer with Champions League football, with that extra money coming in, I'm looking at world-class additions, the final pieces of the jigsaw. So for me, Arteta this season, top 4, bare minimum. How are you looking at it outside in?
You have to finish top 4. Considering the season that you had last season with the squad that you have and the improvements that you made in this off-season, your starting 11 is much stronger. So the expectations naturally have to be there. Of course, there might be some Arsenal fans saying, oh, it's still like the rebuilding process, we're not completely there. But Arsenal Football Club, all them years back, were the team. You need to go back to that. You need to have high expectations as a football club. Because right now, as a Palace fan, I should be scared going into this game. But Turkish, in all honesty, I ain't. I ain't. The two teams that I feared the most is Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's exactly. I don't think anyone's on that level. And of course, Arsenal still got a long way to get there. But this season, you have to finish top 4. And if you look at the signings, Jesus, I think brilliant. But I've got question mark. Is he going to score the goals throughout the Premier League season? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do that. He's had a great preseason, but if he does that, it's going to be a great addition. You got Vieira, a midfielder, another Vieira in your side, another Vieira in your side. We'll see how he does. But you made some solid additions here and there. But Arsenal minimum top 4, and if he doesn't finish top 4, what is Arteta gone?
Listen, for me, Champions League football's a must. If we don't finish top 4 and we make a challenge of it but win the Europa League, I get it. But in all honesty, the league position for me matters more than anything. It shows the biggest improvement. And when I look at Chelsea, I look at United, and I look at their business so far. Listen, there's still a few weeks left of the window, so it can all change. But I also gain hope of the lack of business they've done. And it's been the same over the last few years.
I kind of disagree with like the way that you look at Chelsea and United, for example. I get Chelsea to a certain extent because even like Tuchel started crying about it. But I think Man United this pre-season, I think Ten Hag has put discipline into the squad. And I think it's going to show in the long run throughout the season, where you're going to see when Man United lost 1 or 2 games, they'll just crumble. But I think with Ten Hag, them things are going to change. And also, as you said, the window's not done. I feel like they'll sign De Jong. In a funny way, it's going to be harder for Arsenal to finish in the top 4 this season, I believe, than it was last season. Because when you look at Tottenham, for example, I think they've made improvements. They're going to have Champions League, maybe impacts their league a bit. When you look at Man United, I think they've improved as well. There's question marks about Chelsea, but then again, they've got Sterling, who's a proven Premier League forward.
And Koulibaly,
yeah, exactly.
top
centre-back. So I feel like teams have improved. Maybe not as you expected them to be, but I think it's going to be more difficult for Arsenal to get that top 4. That's why you have to be more consistent throughout the season. Last season, you saw it. Even last season, for example, these teams weren't as strong, right?
Yeah.
And you still didn't finish in the top 4 despite that. So this season, you can't. I doubt there's going to be hardly any margin for error. You have to be on point from the start to the finish. That's why for Arteta on Friday night, it starts there.
Yeah.
If you come against Palace and you lose, 2-1, it's gonna, in the long run, you might say, it dampens the mood, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a massive game for you lot, more than us in a way. We're going into this with a bit of pressure, of course. We destroyed you like 3-0 last time around. So I think for Arsenal, the start of the season has to be right. You have to be right, and you have to continue it throughout the season. But 1 or 2 injuries, I don't know if you got a squad for it.
Yeah, well, that's the big question. I mean, the Zinchenko signing, and we'll talk about signings now. That's kind of taken away the fear of a Tierney injury. We've done well there.
He's always injured anyways.
Yeah, so we've done well to cover that. But then, Partey over the last couple of seasons, injuries with him has cost us. We haven't really added depth into that position. In my opinion, we need an upgrade on Xhaka. I know Xhaka's improved with the improvements around him, but it's still not enough for me. There's still work to be done. You mentioned the Arsenal of old. And Edu has pretty much mentioned that he was asked about, top 4 this season. And he said it shouldn't just be top 4 for Arsenal. It should be challenging.
Exactly.
So, with a challenge, top 4 becomes inevitable. You expect to finish there if you're aiming to challenge for the Premier League. And I'm not saying we will challenge this season because we are far from Manchester City and Liverpool. But what I'm saying is the next necessary step, and in my opinion, which is fair, is top 4 for us. Looking at our pre-season, it's gone very well. Jesus has hit the ground running. Zinchenko's come in, he's done well in the couple of games. Vieira, we yet to see. Saliba for me has been a big addition as well. Not necessarily a new signing, but kind of like a new signing. It's the first pre-season he's had with Arsenal. He's actually been given the starting berth next to Gabriel. Ben White's been moved right back, and he's been solid. He's shown a maturity that his age, for his age, it's been amazing. It's only pre-season, and I hope he can transfer that into the Premier League season. There'll be nothing better than a clean sheet against Palace away to, build on that.
I don't know about that, bro. I'll tell you now. I don't know about clean sheets, because last time around there was a team that got clean sheet, but it wasn't Arsenal. You get me?
See the confidence here. You see, this might have to get clipped up later on in the season, people. But we'll see.
You can clip up whatever, man. You could have clipped up last season's clips as well when Robbie
but that worked
our
for
players.
you.
Yeah, it worked well for us when Robbie was disrespecting Mark Gay and Joachim Andersen, them lot. What did they do? They, in fact, scored a goal. Defenders scored a goal against Arsenal. But look, you have to be confident in your own team. I believe in my team true-heartedly. I believe that this team could and should aim for at least top 10.
On your pre-season, though, it's been a bit different. You half of your squad went out on the couple tours that you've done. I think in terms of full squad or as close to full strength as possible, it's only really the QPR and the recent Montpellier game that you had in which you done well in both games.
Yeah, it's not even QPR, it's just Montpellier.
Yeah.
That's it, just one game, because they came back. We faced Leeds. Whilst we faced Leeds, the other team faced QPR. It was weird. I've never seen that happen before. I don't think it's a new trend or anything like that. It's just with restrictions, COVID restrictions and other like injuries and stuff, we split the squad. And it made no sense because it was a first team tour, but you had more under 23 players there that was balling out rather than first team.
Due to COVID and vaccination.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But the team here, for example, Zaha.
We all know about Zaha.
Yeah, trust me, you're gonna know about him. You're gonna know about him next season as well, because he's been on form. He's been on form in pre-season. If you're talking about pre-season, he's been on form. And even last season as well. And I feel like he's got expectations for himself. Last season at Palace, potentially, end of his contract, come next summer. So I think Zaha next season, he's going to be going for it, like trying to do the best he can, maybe to move on to a bigger club. It could finally happen for him. And there's just other players as well. For example, like Eze. You mentioned new signing like Saliba. That's the same with us with Eze. The way he just came back from his injury, ACL, one of the worst injuries that you can get, and the way that he just bounced back so far in pre-season. I know it's pre-season. I know we're going to see this at the start of the season. We're going to see if he can continue that same form. But the way that he bounced back is promising. It's like having a Gallagher type of replacement in terms of importance, not in terms of the same role, right there, without even forgetting about our signings like Decore, who's a holding midfielder, number 6, who's going to be massive for us because that's one area that we needed, because teams now are pressing us. We didn't have that player who could play with the ball out from the back as a number 6 and, defend and do all the other stuff that you need a modern number 6 to do. So we have improved the squad. We got even Sam Johnson as well. So naturally, as I said, our team has improved. I think our whole squad has improved rather than our first 11. And naturally, if you're looking at last season compared to this season, you're going to have to do a bit more than last season, even if you do have a cup run, because now you have the squad to kind of do it.
You finished 12th last season,
right?
We
finished 12th. We finished 12th. As I said, it was kind of similar to you lot in a way where it just crumbled all of a sudden. After the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, we faced Newcastle, awful. Faced Everton, lost to them as well after being like 3-1 up. You're just ridiculous. It just felt like the players gave up. And Vieira, you can tell he was annoyed as well about the situation, because so far at Palace, he's had that winning mentality regardless of what happens. But now that we got a squad depth, even if we do go on a cup run, I'm not saying we're going to, but even if we do go on a cup run, we should be able to be more competitive. And it's that discipline thing, really. That discipline. That's what I'm seeing in this Palace. That's what I'm looking forward to in this Palace side. And getting to know, we already know about Vieira first system, so it's now just building on that. And you already know what you expect from you. So this season, the players just have to show up, which I think they will.
Us Arsenal fans have, been talking about this summer heading into this season a lot, because it's probably one of the first summers in a long time where the club has actually given us new players before the start of the season. Not only giving us new players before the start of the season, but giving them time to bed in. They've attacked gaping holes in the first 11. Listen, there's still 1 or 2 more that we need to sort out. But in terms of the start of the season, a lot of us are excited. On the Palace side of things, do you feel well prepared for this start of the season, considering the tours and the way they worked out? Do you think the last few weeks of the window might bring some more players in, some more activity for you guys? How are you feeling?
I don't know. It's hard to say because we only had one game since the return back from the tour, and that game was brilliant. Don't get me wrong. Eze and Zaha, who was with the squad, them two were back in England, they played great. But for example, I was looking at Decore, who stayed here, and for example, Joachim Andersen went on tour. And you can tell they're not quite used to each other. Whereas Joachim Andersen as a defender passing to the number 6. We haven't had a number 6 like him. So it's hard to tell, but I guess when the season starts, it's going to be easier. But so far, from our recent game, when everyone did come back, it seemed like the old Palace. It seemed like the team over here worked on the same things as the team over there. But I have no worries about fitness. But when it comes to actual football, it's hard to say whether it's impacted us or not when we've only seen a sample size of one game on a Saturday right before the season starts. So when the season starts, we've got some hard games coming up. We've got Arsenal, we've got City coming up, we've got a difficult start. So we're going to see once them games kick in.
So no worries about fitness, happy with the transfer activity, confident going into this Friday. It's that time of the show. Prediction, D, talk to us, man. What are you saying?
Not another 3-0, but we'll take a 2-1 Palace.
Yeah, you'll take a 2-1. Listen to this.
We'll give you a goal this time around to make you happy a bit.
So you're going 2-1.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm not, as I said, I'm not scared of Arsenal, despite the preseason that you've had. But you are looking better from what I saw last time around. Even if it's preseason, I just need to see it in the season, Turkish. Once I see I hear that. Once I see in the season, once I see Jesus score, because I think Jesus is going to do what he done, even in preseason, in terms of pressing and bringing that energy into the side.
Quality,
But for example, I need to see him score goals. I need to see Zinchenko, how he does for Arsenal as well as a left back. But I think it's going to be a more difficult game because you've got Jesus, he's got a bit more quality even on and off the ball. So I think I'm going to go 2-1. Friday night, first game of the season, Selhurst Park's going to be rocking. We're excited for this. We can't wait for the season to start.
You know what, I hear you with the whole not scared of Arsenal thing because it's just pre-season, like we've mentioned many times in this show. It's up to us to frighten teams when the season starts. That's why I look at this Palace game and I say, listen, we beat Chelsea 4-0 in pre-season, we beat Sevilla 6-0 last time out. Let's go and do the same to Crystal Palace. If we can start the Premier League season Friday night away where a lot of people are looking at it like, Arsenal didn't really need that. You know, we tend to trip up in evening. Look at the last one out with Brentford to start the season. I know COVID and injuries played a part and we are better prepared for this one. It's about going to do the job against Palace, going welcoming Leicester to the Emirates, doing the job against them, and then other teams, other fans like yourself might look and say,
100%.
Now I'm getting a bit scared.
Once Arsenal do that, let's say they have a great start, let's say you guys have a great start to the season, I think people are going to be talking about Arsenal way more seriously. There's already teams looking at Arsenal seriously. And I'm not saying Arsenal's going to have a bad season. I think it's a very competitive Premier League season that we've got coming up. But once Arsenal have that strong start, and if they do, then I think people are going to take Arsenal way more seriously.
So it might be different next time we talk.
Yeah, exactly. It might be different, but we'll see. I think Palace is still going to win, but it might be different Arsenal.
No, mate, I heard your predictions. He's gone with 2-1. Listen, I went with 3-1 as well. I know Robbie said that on his match preview. I'm going with a 3-1 win. I'd love nothing. You know what? I'd rather a 2-0 because get Saliba a clean sheet in his first Premier League, debut and whatnot. But I'm gonna stick with 3-1. Listen, you know me. Generally, over the years, I've been very pessimistic. I've been very down about Arsenal's chances. This is the first game of the season, and for once, our new signings hit the ground running. They've had a few games under their belt. With all due respect to Palace, this is your second season of the process with Vieira. This is our third. So as much as I understand the worry, Friday night fixture, Crystal Palace, and I know what you guys are about. And
you should still aim to beat us.
Exactly. I think we should be aiming. We should be close to confident as possible going into the start of the season.
But it's a massive switch though, from a 3-0 loss to a 3-1 win. That'll show the levels. That'll show the levels. If you guys do that, then I'll be like, all right.
The thing about it is, listen, last season, I think we lacked leaders again. It was a young side. When I see Jesus out there in preseason, even when I look at Saliba out there, they've added that extra leadership element in a sense, both on the ball and off the ball.
They've got experience as well in the Premier League as well, even though they're not like the oldest players. Like Jesus, for example, he's done it in the Premier League. He's worked for Pep, of course. At Man City,
same thing.
Zinchenko. So they understand the standards.
For Ukraine.
And sometimes they might not be like as great as the City players, but they know the standards to win because they have been winners. And sometimes you need winners around your team to go and reach that next level. So it might be beneficial on that side. Forget about the football side of things. But on and off the pitch, when you have that one or two bad results, Zinchenko, Jesus can say, you know what, this is how it was. We need to go and use the experience and actually go and get results. Let's not put our heads down. So look, you're set up well. you're set up well for the new season. Maybe if you get 1 or 2 injuries, it could be costly, but you should be going for top 4, but it ain't going to be easy. But I think you could get there. I think you could get there,
So D's gone 2-1 Palace. I've gone 3-1 Arsenal. D, before we wrap it up, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find us at Back of the Nest on YouTube and social media as well. And yeah, you could talk about that 2-1 Palace win afterwards as well on our channel. So yeah, feel free to go and check out Back of the Nest.
Listen, when Arsenal get the W, go over to his channel and leave a few comments on his last video, people. Back of the Nest. I'm putting the link in the description below. Love to D for coming on for the first box to box. We'll see him again later on this season. Love for the love out there as well. Hit the like button, share it, and let us know your feelings in the comments, predictions, let me not ask lineups because we're pretty confident on what the lineup's going to be. Give us your predictions and thoughts heading into this Palace, into this new season, people. Love for the love. Hit the like button. We are out. Peace.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.